These are the 7 terms that you should know when you are working with cloud and you are trying to learn it and all. So the first thing is high availability. Basically means that all the resources that you need for your infrastructure which are hosted in cloud are highly available, which means they will be available 24/7. If you want more resources, you can add to it. Next is reliability, which means if something happens to one particular server, you could use other servers which will be readily available. If there is earthquake in one particular region, then you could use the other resources in other region to do the same task. Next is scalability, which basically means that you could expand the number of resources that you have. That might be in terms of network, storage, or processors, or GPUs. The next one is predictability, which basically means as knowing like your application will always perform as expected, and knowing that what's going on in your server. So like if you bought a computer, and then you should know that if you buy a high expensive computer, then it can play AAA games. Similarly, if you allocate 10 gigabyte of hard drive to a particular server, then it will only have a 10 gigabyte of hard drive, and it will only cost you for that 10 gigabyte. It will not cost you for 100 gigabyte. Next is security. It is by default available in all the cloud providers. That might be an Azure, GCP, or AWS. Similarly, how you have a lock on your laptop. Similarly, cloud service providers use your private keys and public keys to provide you access. They will also have lock systems like user IDs, password. Next is governance. It's basically like standardizing your cloud deployment to meet the requirement and company standards. It's like when you're storing your transaction data, it has to be stored in SQL servers which will follow the CERT principle. These are the rules set by the government and a particular standard organization. So similarly, cloud also provide all these standards by default. So if you want to store transaction data, then cloud will provide you a particular SQL server which will be separated from all other servers. They can also be present on your on-premise, which is in your company or in a particular location in the cloud. Be compliant with the regulations. Next is manageability, which is the main important reasons of having a cloud. You could manage all your resources, cloud infrastructure, and how people interact with those cloud resources, like providing access to a particular server. So if you have a DevOps manager, and if you have a developer, you don't want to give access manager, which is IA, identity and access management, or your resource manager access to the developer. You only want them to have access to the resources but not provisioning the resources. For provisioning the resources, you need to have a DevOps manager or a third party who will manage these resources for you. So just a recap, these are the 7 terms that you should know: high availability, reliability, scalability, predictability, security, governance, and manageability. And that's it. If you want more video like this, please follow.